Guidelines for self-installation and use of grinding wheels. Thank you for choosing wheels-xinfa grinding wheel product. Grinding wheel is a fragile and consumable tool, and over 19% of a grinding wheel safety accidents are caused by improper installation and operation. In order to guide users to install and use grinding wheels correctly, we have created this animated video. When the operator receives the grinding wheel, they should first carefully read the label on the packaging and handle it with care. Heavy pressure, vibrant, and collision are prohibited. When using heavier grinding wheels, they must be carefully transported to the operating process by a transport truck before unpacking. The operator must use a wooden hammer to lightly tap the grinding wheel for sound inspection and check the appearance of the grinding wheel. Grinding wheels with cracks, damage, unclear sound, and muffled sound are strictly prohibited from being installed and used. Please operate the grinder or grinding machine correctly according to the user manual. Check if the speed of a grinder of a grinding machine matches the safety line speed of the grinding wheel. If it does not match, do not install the machine, and it is strictly prohibited to use the grinding wheel over speed. Installation: a buffer cushion with a diameter greater than the outer diameter of the flange by 2 mm and a thickness of 1 to 2 mm should be prepared. The size and shape of the flange must be the same and comply with the requirements of JBT 2493-2013 grinding wheel rotation test method. Before installation, the inner holes and the surface residues of the flange must be cleaned to ensure that the flange and the grinding wheel pressing surface are flat and smooth. When installing the flange, it should be handled steadily and gently. A special torque wrench should be used to tighten the multi-point fastening flange bolts, which must be diagonally symmetrical in sequence to ensure moderate and even tightening force. The flange should be tightened to the extent that it is sufficient to drive the grinding wheel without sliding. After the installation of the grinding wheel flange is completed, it is necessary to install a balance shaft and perform 2 static balancing calibrations on the grinding wheel. Before calibration, the static balancer of the grinding wheel must be calibrated. The first time is to eliminate the imbalance caused by the seize and the position errors of the grinding wheel before trimming. The grinding wheel must be removed for a second static balancing, and the internal imbalance of the grinding wheel must be corrected again. When installing the grinding wheel on the spindle of the grinding machine, it should be checked whether the diameter of the grinding wheel matches the size of the spindle. If the gap between the grinding wheel and the spindle is too large or too tight, it should not be installed or used. The grinding wheel must be used on grinding machinery equipped with a protective cover, which should comply with the requirements of JB 4674-2009 safety regulations for grinding machinery. Have sufficient strength and reasonable structure. After the grinding wheel is installed on the spindle of the grinding machine, it is confirmed that there are no remaining tools that affect the rotation of the grinding wheel and the operation of the grinding machine. First, rotate the grinding wheel by hand to preliminarily observe whether the rotation of the grinding wheel is stable. After inspection is completed, first jog the spindle of the grinding machine to visually observe any abnormalities. Listen for any abnormal sounds and ensure there are no issues before conducting the idle test. During idle operation, the operator should not stand in front of the grinding wheel or in the tangent direction to prevent accident. The idle time should be maintained for 5 minutes, and the grinding wheel can only be repaired for the first time after the idle test is completed. When dressing the grinding wheel, the contact should be gentle and the feed should be appropriate. The coolant should be turned down in advance to prevent the diamond dressing machine from overheating and damage. After first dressing is completed, remove the grinding wheel and perform the second static balance correction on the grinding wheel. After reinstalling the grinding wheel onto the spindle of the grinding machine, repeat the procedure of the first drill round to avoid danger. After reinstallation the grinding wheel onto the grinding machine spindle, the grinding wheel needs to be repaired for the second time. After the second repair is completed, the workpiece can be officially ground. During grinding operations, operators should wear personal protective equipment